Hello there. I am Albert Nathaniel Williams. I was born in Denver, Colorado on June 14, 1888. I grew up on the ranch of my grandparents, Byron and Mollie Dorsey Sanford. The old Sanford Ranch was located on West Belleview Avenue, just west of the Platte River here in Littleton, Colorado. As a young man, I attended Yale University and graduated from Yale's Sheffield Scientific School. In 1904, I began work as a rodman for the Denver and Salt Lake Railway.
Here I am as a younger man working on the railroad as a rodman, and you can call me Bert, by the way. I worked for the Rock Island Railway and the Missouri-Kansas-Texas Railroad, became superintendent by 1918. And along the way, I married a beautiful little lady named Clara Skeel in 1912.
Here I am as an oil man. I decided to try the oil business, and from 1918 to 1921, I worked down in Texas, Oklahoma, and Mexico. I moved down here to Trinity, Texas with my wife, Clara, to start a new life. But I just missed the railroad too much.
In 1921, I returned to railroading, and by 1926, I was general manager of the Minneapolis-St. Paul Railway. In 1932, during the Great Depression, I became president of the Beltline Railway in Chicago.
One success followed another, and in 1939, I became executive vice president of the Lehigh Valley Railway.
I would then become president of Western Union in 1941. My signature was on every telegram sent during World War II. While with Western Union, I was also elected to the boards of the Manufacturers Trust Company and the American Express Company. President Roosevelt offered me a post as Secretary of Commerce, but I turned it down. I told him, "Sorry, Frank, I'm just having too much fun with my trains."
I then retired in the early 1950s to the Sanford farm here in Littleton. The family always spends the summers here. There's a train caboose in the back as a guest house, a fond memory of my railroad days. My daughter Mollie would often ride her horse bareback all the way from here down to Littleton's Main Street. And I would stop in at the newspaper office to speak to my good friend and Littleton's resident columnist, Houston Waring. My retirement would prove short-lived, however. I always need something to keep me busy.
Shortly after retirement, I was offered a position as the chairman of the board of U.S. National Bank. I accepted the offer, though I knew nothing of banking. I asked my son Albert to go to the library and get me something about banking. And guess I'm a quick learner, because I then solved the problems of the bank. And then I merged the U.S. National Bank with the Denver National Bank, and the result was United Bank. My successes as a businessman were definitely noticed in Littleton, so I was then elected mayor in 1957. During my 2-year term, I laid the groundwork for the new city charter, among other accomplishments. In my long career as an executive, I became well known in certain social and political circles around the country. I met celebrities like W.C. Fields, Herbert Hoover, several presidents, and many others. I always maintained my interest in my family, my friends, and my trains, in that order. One of my last thoughts before I passed away in 1962 was being worried about whether the trains were running on time. I very much appreciate you taking the time to hear my story. Farewell.